So the Behemoth just dropped a bombshell of information about the highly anticipated Castle Crashers Painter Boss Paradise DLC. From release dates to character templates, here is the complete breakdown of everything you need to know. The video begins with the Painter Boss and Paint Jr. But cuteness aside, the video displays the new and updated DLC screen, which has had a few art changes from when we last saw it. Entering the create menu and we get a glimpse of the new toolkit, the place where we will be uploading our custom made characters. But first, we have to create them. Select the browse folder option and find the custom character template. Drag it into whichever photo editing software you prefer and get creating. Right, so looking at the new template, and you can see that we have 7 boxes for the head, 5 for the body, 6 for beefy, your character selection art, icon, back of barbarian piece, and also a section for your weapon and shield, but I'll cover that soon. Starting with the headpieces, and these are for all the animations in the game. This includes attacking, blocking, and even the new idle animation available only in fresh mode. That means you're going to want to be as consistent as possible when it comes to your designs and dimensions in order for a fluid looking animation. And totally avoid what I did and treat each box like their own head skin. Yeah, it's gonna be a little cursed. The same sentiment applies to the body and beefy sprites, as these are once again all of the animations in game. But moving down to the beefy arm slots, and you can see that they are already filled in. Well, that's due to the Behemoth deciding to include the base beefy arms just in case you didn't want to make them yourself. However, you could easily recolor them or draw over them if you want to make your own beefy arms. On the other hand, the regular sized arms are not present in this template and will not be customizable. That means you will be stuck with the default Castle Crasher arms for all of your creations. But speaking of creating, and you can see the size of these boxes are very generous. And it turns out that these boxes do reflect in-game, meaning as long as your art fits inside these boxes, your character can be as big or as small as you'd like. Minus the arms again though, do remember that. Moving down to the profile pictures, and here you can get as creative as you'd like. This is where you're going to want to show what your characters are all about, as if you plan to upload your creations to the Steam Workshop, this is probably what people will see and judge before selecting your character. I just can't wait to be getting clickbaited on both YouTube and Castle Crashers now. There's also the Bob sprite, which is exactly that. It's how your custom character will appear in the minigame Back Off Barbarian. This is honestly an optional feature since a lot of people don't play that mode, but hey, I play that mode and I'd love to see what you guys come up with. But moving on to the weapon and shield slots, and here you can create your own custom weapon skin and shield for your character. And the way this works is awesome. Starting with the shield, and you will have one slot for the idle animation and one for blocking, allowing for some really interesting designs. You could have a small shield for your idle animation that grows into a larger shield when blocking. You could maybe include a spike that extends out of the shield when you block, or don't have a shield at all and draw a dual wield dagger instead. The possibilities are literally endless. But moving on to the weapon, and this introduces a feature which I'm very excited for. So when making your custom character, you will also be able to create a custom weapon to go alongside it. This weapon skin appears on any weapon you equip in-game and can be toggled on or off at the weapon frog. That means you can choose any weapon with the stats you want, whilst having complete control over what it looks like. Or if you download a skin off the Steam Workshop and don't really like the weapon skin, you could simply turn it off. After completing the character template, we return to the Castle Crashers Create menu where you can now name your custom character, but do remember that this will appear over your selection art. After choosing your name, the next step is to select if your custom character will be replacing an already existing character in-game or be its own completely. Replacing a character will do exactly that. For example, if you select Barbarian for your custom character, then the playable Barbarian will now be your character as well as all the enemy Barbarians in the game. If you choose to not replace anything, then your character can be selected in the character selection without it replacing anything. You can have a maximum of 10 custom characters active at one time, as well as replacing every single base game playable character. The final step for your creation is to choose their magic. This includes every magic that currently exists in-game. So far, we have seen Green Knight Poison, Red Knight Lightning, Blue Knight Ice, Orange Knight Fire, Grey Knight Arrow Rain and Bomb Projectiles, Barbarian Magic, Arrow Rain and Knife Projectiles, and finally Fencer/Industrialist Saw Blades. Some interesting things to note is that the default magic option will be removed on launch as stated by Dan. I'm assuming default was if you were going to replace a character with your own and it was going to be the original character's magic. But this wouldn't have ended up working if you didn't replace any characters because default would be, well, nothing. There's also Bomb A magic, which suggests there's going to be a Bomb B magic. And according to Dan, Bomb B magic will be the same as Bomb A, but with a different magic glow. Finally, Dan has confirmed that characters like Eskimo and the Fire Demon, who share similar magic to Blue and Orange Knight, will have their own magics to select called Snow and Lava. But do keep in mind that everything I've said so far is not concrete and could be subject to change on release. After selecting your magic, the final step for your creation is to test them out. This spawns your character inside the painter's head box, which I think is such a cool detail. Inside the test room, you can hit this paint bucket to spawn a maximum of 5 enemies, who will always be a clone of your current creation. This allows you to see how your character looks when moving, in combat, and also whilst getting juggled, since the enemies are clones of you. There's also a beefy sandwich in this test area, allowing you to fully test the beefy variant as well. But on a side note, this test arena also acts perfectly for anyone looking to practice juggling. Just think about it. You can control how many enemies are spawned at once. You can choose the weight of the enemy by selecting to replace light, medium or heavy enemies. And you also have unlimited sandwiches to practice beefy juggles. So yeah, we're also kind of getting a practice arena in this DLC. Finally, before you save your character, you also have the option to publish your creation to the Steam Workshop. This will allow other people on Steam to publicly download your custom character and use them in their own games. And that's how you can create and publish your own Castle Crashers custom character, which is part of the Painter Boss Paradise DLC releasing August 6th of this year, meaning we are only less than a month away from release. But if you're impatient like me, then the character creation template is actually available right now. I'll leave a link to it in the description of this video, where you can download it and get creating as of now. But anyway guys, let me know down in the comments which characters you plan to make. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.